Biased media, a threat to Indian democracy. Media plays a pivotal role in shaping public opinion, fostering informed discourse, and holding power to account in a democratic society. However, when media outlets succumb to bias, it undermines the very foundation of democracy. In India, the prevalence of biased media across various dimensions poses a significant threat to the democratic fabric of the nation. This essay explores the multifaceted dimensions of biased media in India, supported by examples, and proposes a suitable way forward to address this pressing issue. Political bias. One of the most pervasive forms of bias in Indian media is political bias. Media outlets often align themselves with specific political parties or ideologies, leading to partisan reporting and commentary. For instance, certain news channels and newspapers are perceived as being sympathetic to the ruling government, while others are considered critical or oppositional. This polarization of media can distort public discourse, suppress dissenting voices, and erode trust in journalistic integrity. Example: Republic TV, a prominent news channel in India, is often accused of being overtly pro-government, with its primetime debates and coverage reflecting a consistent bias in favor of the ruling party. Sensationalism. Another dimension of biased media is sensationalism, where news outlets prioritize sensational headlines and content over factual reporting. Sensationalism is driven by the desire to attract viewership or readership, often at the expense of accuracy and journalistic ethics. This trend not only trivializes important issues, but also fuels polarization and sensationalizes sensitive topics, further dividing society along ideological lines. Example: the coverage of high-profile criminal cases, such as the Arushi Talwar murder case or the Sushant Singh Rajput death case by certain media outlets, was criticized for its sensationalized and speculative nature, leading to trial by media and public outrage based on unverified information. Corporate influence. Media ownership in India is often intertwined with corporate interests, leading to biased reporting that serves the agenda of corporate conglomerates. Media outlets owned by large corporations may prioritize business interests over journalistic integrity, leading to self-censorship and the suppression of critical reporting on issues that could harm corporate interests. Example: certain media houses with interests in sectors like real estate or mining have been accused of underreporting environmental violations or land acquisition controversies involving companies owned by their corporate affiliates. Regional bias. India's diverse sociocultural landscape is often neglected in mainstream media, leading to regional bias in news coverage. Issues affecting certain regions or communities may receive disproportionate attention, while others are marginalized or ignored altogether. This regional bias perpetuates inequalities and exacerbates social divisions within the country. Example: the struggles of marginalized communities in rural or tribal areas, such as farmers' protests or land rights movements, often receive less coverage in national media compared to urban-centric issues or events in metropolitan cities. Social media influence. The advent of social media has amplified the spread of biased information, fake news, and propaganda campaigns, further exacerbating the problem of biased media in India. Misleading narratives and divisive content spread rapidly on social media platforms, influencing public opinion and deepening societal rifts. Example: during communal riots or political unrest, social media platforms are often flooded with inflammatory content and misinformation, leading to the escalation of tensions and violence fueled by online propaganda. Way forward. Addressing the menace of biased media in India requires concerted efforts from various stakeholders, including policymakers, media organizations, civil society, and the public. Here are some actionable steps to mitigate the impact of biased media and safeguard democracy. 1. Regulatory reforms. Implement robust regulations to ensure media outlets adhere to ethical standards and unbiased reporting. Independent regulatory bodies should be empowered to oversee media practices and address complaints of bias or misinformation. 2. Transparency and accountability. Media organizations should disclose their ownership structure, funding sources, and editorial policies to ensure transparency and accountability. Mechanisms for public scrutiny and accountability, such as ombudsmen or media watchdogs, should be established to hold media outlets accountable for biased reporting. 3. Media literacy. Promote media literacy programs to educate the public about identifying biased or misleading information. Critical thinking skills and fact-checking techniques should be taught to enable individuals to discern credible sources from propaganda or fake news. 4. Diversification of ownership. Encourage diversity in media ownership to prevent monopolization by large corporations or political interests. Support independent media outlets and community-based journalism to provide alternative perspectives and foster pluralism in media representation. 5. Ethical journalism practices. Promote ethical journalism practices, including fact-based reporting, verification of sources, and avoidance of sensationalism. Journalists should adhere to professional standards of integrity and independence in their reporting, prioritizing the public interest over partisan agendas. 6. Public engagement. Encourage public engagement and participation in media monitoring and accountability mechanisms. Civil society organizations, activists, and concerned citizens can play a crucial role in holding media outlets accountable and advocating for unbiased reporting. In conclusion, biased media poses a significant threat to Indian democracy by distorting public discourse, undermining trust in institutions, and exacerbating social divisions. Addressing this challenge requires a comprehensive approach involving regulatory reforms, media literacy initiatives, and a commitment to ethical journalism. By promoting transparency, accountability, and media pluralism, India can uphold the principles of democracy and ensure that the media serves as a responsible guardian of public interest. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and share it with your friends. And remember to subscribe for future uploads.